Hi, I'm Julie, Fei-Fan Balzer, and paper piercing is fun and easy with your ScanNCut DX. Today, I'm going to show you how to pierce a built-in design in your ScanNCut and then create an offset outline in order to cut around it. It's super cool. You won't want to miss this one.
The first thing we want to do is make sure that the piercing setting is activated. So go into the wrench or settings. You're going to scroll all the way down to the very bottom where you will see premium functions. So you can see this is where they have premium functions like embossing, foiling, and now the piercing. So we're going to turn the kit activation on. Remember, you must buy the paper piercing kit in order to turn on this activation and to have it work for you, okay? So once you have done that, you can say okay. And now, okay again, our machine is ready to pierce. I'm going to choose pattern. And then I'm going to go into my sort of fun shapes here. I am going to pick a shape that I want to work with. I think I like this leaf. So let's do this leaf. I can make it whatever size I want, bigger, smaller, etc., etc. Then hit OK. OK again. Decide how many I want. I'm just going to have one. Set it. And now it looks like a regular cut file, right? But if I go into Edit, Object Edit, you'll notice this new symbol right here. So this symbol is the paper piercing symbol. So if I click on it, you can see that I can turn the piercing on. That's what dot line means. And I can even adjust the spacing. Remember that the default setting will always be highlighted in black. And I'm going to say okay. And now if you look, you can see all those little dots. This is now a paper piercing. So what's going to happen is this is going to get all pierced, all these little holes there, which is pretty cool. So if I like the design, I can add a second one. If I don't like it, I can delete it. If I want to undo the piercing, I can turn it off. And now it's back to just being regular lines. I can also turn the dot line on. And then let's say I wanted to also cut out the leaf. So then I can add an offset line. And I can make it as big. Like let's say I want it all the way there. That's what the black line is the offset line. So I can do that. And now it will pierce the inside and cut on the outside. Isn't that cool? So let me grab something to go ahead and pierce and cut. You will need your paper piercing tools and you will need your paper piercing mat. You have two options with your paper piercing tool, either 0.4 or 0.8. And if I pull the caps off, and they do pull, they don't screw, you just have to pull firmly. You'll see the difference, which is that the 0.4 is slightly smaller than the 0.8. So you can see that. So you can pick whichever one you want. I'm going to go with the 0.8. And you do want to put the cap back on until you hear that click because these are very sharp and can poke you. The holder part, you just unscrew the gray cap. Then with the pink label facing you and the arrow, you're going to take the pink label and the arrow and you're going to insert it in so that the pink label and the pink label, they should both be facing forward, the arrow and the arrow. Then take the cap, screw it back on, and now you can see your paper piercing tool is in there. If you're going to let this sit on your desk, you do want to take the cap and just recap it because for safety's sake, you don't want that point around. It's like having a needle around. The paper piercing mat has a protective cover like any other ScanNCut mat because this is a sticky surface. So I'm simply going to place my paper down onto the mat, make sure it's secure, and then I will load this into the ScanNCut machine. Once the mat is loaded, I'm going to remove the blade from the blade carriage. I will take the paper piercing tool, remove the cap, and I'm going to place it into the blade carriage with that Brother logo facing out. You definitely want to be able to see the pink label. Then close that up and you are all set. I'm going to scan my material so that I can place my file exactly where I want it. I can see my design here on the screen, and I want to move it so it will fit on the paper, but the problem is it's actually two different files. So I'm going to go to Edit, and I'm going to go to Select All. So that's these two red boxes, meaning two things are selected. And I'm going to go ahead to Object Edit now and group them. So now it's one box, which I can easily move, and I can place it anywhere on my paper that I want to pierce and cut it. So I've placed it. I'm going to ungroup it. There's no reason to have it grouped now. You could leave it grouped if you wanted. And I'm going to say, okay, okay again, okay again. And now please select, scroll down until I see pierce. Now, if you're piercing and cutting, you always want to pierce first and cut second. That's really important because the piercing can push the edges of the paper up in a way that you don't want. So pierce first and cut second. So pierce. And I'm going to press start. Once the piercing has been completed, I'm going to remove the piercing tool. I will cap it for safety. Then I'm going to take my blade, put it in, brother logo facing me. I am not unloading the mat. Instead, I'm going to hit OK on the screen. And then please select Cut. And then Start. Now that it is finished, I can remove this from the mat. And you can see the paper piercing on this side, the side that was up, is very sort of smooth. That's the best way I can describe it, but when you flip it over, because that's where it was pushed through, it's much more dimensional. So there is no right side in terms of what's up and down. This side looks a little more dimensional. This side looks a little more smooth, but this is a wonderful embellishment that you can now use for all sorts of things. How cool is that?
Thanks so much for watching. For more tips, tricks, and tutorials, be sure to check out my blog at balzerdesigns.typepad.com, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and of course, don't forget about the ScanNCut website at scanncut.com.